Well, everyone, today was the day. XRP ETF went live officially on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol XRPC, and we were expecting a massive rally. But unfortunately, as I've mentioned in previous videos, when you have negative crypto price action, Bitcoin, of course, leading the way down significantly on the day. After XRP was looking like it was clear for breakout, the market tanked and brought down the price with it, even though we broke significant ETF records within the first hour of trading on the NASDAQ. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and cover how long this pain can continue in the crypto market, and hopefully when we're going to see the relief rally that we've been anticipating for quite some time, because things are looking better from a macro structure. The US government shutdown has officially ended as of last night. We know that the Feds are looking to pivot from quantitative tightening to easing in December next month. But why is the market bleeding? Make sure you stay tuned while we discuss. But remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button on your way in and consider subscribing to the channel. So the market is down. Unfortunately, Bitcoin broke below its $99,000 support that we saw earlier in October and also in the beginning of November. XRP token. It's being resistant to the downtrend, but unfortunately, it is also a victim with $7.01 billion of trade volume, up 45% day over day from yesterday, because a lot of people were getting very excited about what was coming. And you guys know, we thought it was clear for breakout, especially with the ETF approval and everything else. All the news that could potentially make this thing go up has happened over the last day. And we broke out. We did. We went above $2.52. Early wee hours of the morning, and then we just saw the slump because it had to follow the macro structure within the cryptocurrency space. Brad Garlinghouse took it over to X and he said it's finally happening. XRPC was a ticker symbol that Canary Capital has on the listed NASDAQ at $26 million of volume in the first 30 minutes. This is Eric Balachunas over from Bloomberg. Senior ETF analyst. He said, gonna blow away my $17 million guess, because that's what he had for the first day of trading. Has a good shot at becoming or beating BCSOL, which is Solana's first ETF at $57 million as the biggest day one of any launch this year in 2025. The volume is still ramping up and things are looking much, much better for XRP ETF. But guys, again, this is the very beginning, and Brad Garlinghouse showing his support over on X this morning after market open. But unfortunately, the market decided today's the day it wants to officially break its support line of 99K BTC. And with that being said, $220 million worth of cryptocurrency longs liquidated in the past hour here. And before that, we've been seeing liquidations pretty much all morning. So the question is why? Why, if the macro structure is looking much better, aside from a fearful market with the fear and greed index staying at 25, why do we keep plummeting? Why does the market keep tanking? Why do we keep seeing these retracements on any gains that we have? And I think, again, to be 100% transparent, the only things that I personally see in this market is strictly and purely manipulation. Nothing more and nothing less. If we take it over to crypto currently, he is kind of my quant analysis, if you will, right? He's the quant behind the numbers when I'm seeking someone to keep me at least level-headed in this market. BTC is back to the middle of fair value region. It is now trading below the 50-week moving average, so the weekly close will be crucial on Sunday. There was a lot of pushback for calling $110,000 expensive, but now it's clear the market seems to officially agree. So this chart here has been one that I've been following quite a bit from crypto currently. I'll make my screen super small so you guys can see what I see. But again, this orange line that you see running right here as previous support where we tapped once in July, we tapped it again in August or so. This is back in 2024. We touched it yet again, even in early 2025. And now, unfortunately, not only did we touch it, but we fell below the 50-week moving average. All of this is noise because these could just be wicks down on the daily candles. But what I want to see, of course, these are weekly candles, and the one that's forming currently is below 50. So the worry is from a technical analysis standpoint is we could potentially see Bitcoin fall to its next 200-week moving average, which is right here at $85,000 BTC. If this happens, the rest of the altcoin market will take a huge hit. Big institutional investors have a bunch of liquidity lying here to go ahead and purchase and create spot buys for cryptocurrencies, including BTC, ETH, Solana, XRP, you name it. But we'll see if the bulls are able to kind of upkeep and not allow it to go into the cheap region, hopefully staying in this fair value region, followed through going back to expensive, and then hopefully into a euphoric, very expensive range. The question on the table right now is what in today's market will definitely bring us back? And there is no definitives. All we have remaining is one single catalyst, and that is Jerome Powell coming out. Since all the jobs data is no longer going to be released, all the things from October during the government shutdown are not going to be shown here in early November, because CPI was supposed to come out, PPI, but all of that has now been either delayed or canceled for the month of November. So with that being said, what is that going to create in terms of the Federal Reserve's abilities to continue cutting rates and make risk on assets more appetizing for retail investors? So you got to buckle up. You got to buckle up and prepare for the worst, but also expect relief rallies and hopefully a positive market sentiment. Because right now for XRP, we don't have any other cryptocurrency in the market that's making as much noise and also conforming to all of the positivity and the positive things that are contributing to the crypto market. ETF approvals, everything is going as planned for XRP coin. Nothing has changed fundamentally. Of course, when we look at our daily portfolios, right, on the week, we're still up 4%, but on the day down 2.1%. And I'm actually down about $273 on the day, $4,200 since I transferred my money into iTrust Capital's premium custody account, right? I've been using this for quite some time now. You guys know there's a link down below for a free $100 if you sign up. But most important thing right now is to kind of watch the macro structure. That's the only thing that can pivot us towards the right direction. Kobesi Letter, I'm gonna go over to their Twitter real quick so you guys can see. They put out a really, really good statement. One of the other things that I follow closely in terms of looking at the macro structure. But the most important thing here is, let's just scroll through. There it is right here. U.S. government shutdown final statistics. 5 million airline passengers. You guys probably don't care much about that. 619 billion in federal debt accrued. Federal statistical system permanently damaged. This is a big problem here, of course. For the feds to be able to make a decision in December to end quantitative tightening, they needed to see what the economy is looking like from a month-to-month perspective with CPI and PPI data that was supposed to be reported. October jobs and inflation data may never, ever be released. So if it's bad enough, why report it, right? 43 days of economic data currently delayed, 750,000 federal workers furloughed. The current funding bill only reopens the government through January 30th. Round 2 currently awaits. The fear is that we are in a recession. And again, my base case right now is we do go to a new all-time high for the entire crypto market before year end. I do believe that is reasonable to make that assumption based off of where we are from a potential macro structure and Jerome having to basically bail us out at the end of the year in December. So I'm hoping from December 1st through the end of December, we have 30 days of pure relief rally that will send us to new all-time highs. But you're going to have to potentially be able to stomach the way down. Meaning, if we break below the 50-week moving average this Sunday, so we have 3 more days here before week end, then expect that 85K BTC. And that could be pretty damaging to the entire altcoin space. 20 to 30%, 40% corrections, even for our beloved XRP. So I'm just here to be a voice of reason. No guarantees. But of course, we could pivot tomorrow morning because Donald Trump comes out and says something absolutely unexpected. Like, hey, no more capital gains taxes for the cryptocurrency space for the next 365 days. If that statement is made, boom, solutions left and right, market begins a relief rally again. But the most entertaining outcome is usually the one that is expected. So all I'm saying is I still do think bulls will win this battle between the bears and the bulls, but let's see where the market ends this Sunday. That's going to be our clear indicator on the direction we're headed for at least the rest of November going into early December. I appreciate your support as always. Rejoice. We are now officially on the NASDAQ as a listed asset for people to trade in the stock market. So that's a huge win for the XRP community and Army. So until next time, as always, everybody, keep investing. Peace.